guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel or simply not yet subscribed, I'm Brittany, and definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to dive into the legend of cuco today. Now, cuco is one of those things that parents basically tell kids in order to get them to listen. Like the boogeyman, like if you don't go to sleep, the boogeyman will get you. Or don't go in there because the boogeyman's hiding. My parents used to have one, or my dad used to have one at his house. Oh, I don't remember the name of it, but it was like Mr. something lived in the basement. And growing up, they were really afraid of it. Then obviously I got older, wasn't as afraid of it anymore, but then they still like kind of passed it on with us. So when we went into my grandmother's basement, it was very much like a, oh, don't let so-and-so get you. And it was a very creepy basement. You went down the stairs and the initial light only lit up around the stairs and around the washer and dryer and freezer. And then there was just this immense amount of darkness beyond that. And when we wanted ice cream, we had to go down into the basement to that freezer to get it. And none of us really wanted to hang down there long. It was a very eerie vibe. In all fairness, I got that same vibe when I would go upstairs in her house. Just this like, I don't want to be up here vibe. So the legend of cuco is widely used by parents in Spain and Latin America in order to get their children to go to sleep. Parents would sit there and sing rhymes or lullabies, warning them if they didn't go to sleep, el cuco would get them. Which, why is it that it's always like, if you don't go to sleep, the scary monster is going to get you. So you better go to sleep. Because in my eyes, that would be more fearful. Like, oh my gosh, like this thing's going to get me. And I would probably have nightmares about this thing. The rhyme originated in the 17th century. It did evolve over the years, as most things do, but it still retains that original meaning. I took like 3 years of Spanish, 4 years of Spanish. I don't remember. But I know I'm still going to butcher this, so forgive me. But it's duermete mi niño, duermete ya, porque viene el coco y te comerá, which translates to sleep my child, sleep now, or else comes the cocoa to eat you. Now, during the Portuguese and the Spanish colonization of Latin America, the legend of the cuco was spread to countries such as Mexico, Argentina, and Chile. In the Mexican American community, the creature is actually known as el cuque. There's no actual, really general description of the cuco. It's not like when you think of mermaids and you're like, oh, well, it's a maiden with a tail. However, as far as facial or body descriptions go, it's stated to be extremely horrible to look at. The cuco is described as this shapeless figure, sometimes this hairy monster that hides in closets or under beds and eats children who misbehave when they are told to go to bed. In Sackman version, the cuco is portrayed as an adult male, usually in the form of like a hobo who carries a sack on his back. And he'll go and he will collect disobedient children to sell. Parents may tell their kids that, oh, the sack man will come to collect you if you don't behave. The sack man also exists in Spain in the form of hombre del saco or hombre de la bolsa. And it's usually depicted as this mean and really ugly, super skinny old man who will eat the misbehaving children he collects. In Brazil, the cuco often appears as female, which would be la cuca. Cuca appears as a villain in some children's books, and when appearing as this villain, it's like a humanoid alligator. Traditionally, the cuco is represented by a carved vegetable lantern made from a pumpkin with 2 eyes and a mouth. It's left in dark places with a light inside to scare people. The name coconut, like the coconut, is actually derived from the cuco and was given to the fruit by the sailors of Vasco da Gama because it reminded them of this mythical creature. In Rubadeo, 2 giant figures represent El Cuco y la Cuca. But in most cases, El Cucos or cucoi are these small humanoid figures with glowing red eyes, closets or under beds. And some lore even describes him as a child who was the victim of violence and turned into this creature. So he's kind of alive, like he can attack, but he's also dead. I thought this mythological creature was very interesting to tie to the next story because I know personally, growing up, I was terrified of closets and terrified of under the bed. I still would have trouble sleeping in a room that had a closet with those doors with the slits in them instead of a solid door. I know my apartment had the ones with the slits and I would have to open it every time I went to bed. Like I would have to open it, make sure nothing was there, and then I could go to bed. But even so, my childhood home, my closet had a solid door and I still had to have my mom go in, make sure nothing was there, check under my bed. And it was something that just always kind of terrified me. I don't know if it was so much because of the unknown, like there might be something in there, or if there actually was. I know as far as a fear of under the bed or closets go, especially as a child, I was not alone. Drop in the comments if you have had that fear growing up, if you still have that fear, and we're going to dive into this creepy encounter. I was little, maybe 8 years or so. I have 6 sisters. I'm the middle child. We lived out on a ranch in an old house with no close neighbors. It was daytime and I was playing hide and seek with one of my little sisters, and it was my turn to hide. So I hid in the pantry room, and in the pantry room is a movable wooden closet with 2 slide doors. I go in on the left side and slide the closet door enough to see through a tiny crack. It's pitch black in there except for this little light coming from the crack in front of me. I'm sitting there crouched over shoes and hiding under the jackets, concentrating on breathing as low as possible. I'm waiting, knowing she will never find me. And then, in the darkness, I hear my name being whispered. Enough for you to know that they called your name and the whisper came from the right side of me, inside the closet. As if in my ear, I froze. I couldn't do anything but look straight out through the crack. I was panicking inside. I closed my eyes as tight as I could and gathered up enough guts to reach over and felt around the closet to see if it was my sister, which I knew it wasn't. It didn't sound like a man or a woman's voice. It was just this neutral whisper. Definitely an adult's voice. I felt shoes everywhere. I reached up and I felt jackets hanging. I felt the walls of the closet and did this all within less than 5 seconds. No one was there. There's only one entrance into that room, and my sister never came in, nor did anyone else. I don't know where the whisper came from. I crouched down quickly and stared out the crack, and I slowly put my 2 fingers in the crack and counted in my mind. 1, 2, and I slid the door. I opened it as fast as I could, and I ran out of the closet, out of the room, through the kitchen and the living room. I stopped and turned. I stared at the kitchen doorway, and just then, I saw a tall, black, shadowed figure, as if they were wearing a big cloak, pass from the way I came, and it went across to the left into the other side of the kitchen. Some of my sisters came in and I told them. We approached the kitchen slowly with a broom in my hands. They were behind me and I was afraid, but I peeked my head and looked to the left, and I saw my mother's purse hanging on a nail in the doorway, and her purse was swinging side to side. But that was impossible for it to be moving. My sisters thought I was crazy. I wasn't crazy. My sister, who was seeking for me, came inside from outside and claimed she found me. But that black figure was the scariest thing I saw. And knowing it called my name in a dark closet was even scarier and sent chills down my spine. Since then, I've never been in a closet alone, and I avoid them as much as I can. And if there is a closet, I always make sure it's closed all the way. I can't stand seeing even a black crack of the closet's darkness. We have experienced many things in that house. I wasn't the only sister who's had her name called in the darkness of that home. So obviously I'm not saying that was the cuco. I mean, it could have been. I've also been a shadow figure. There's so many different possibilities of what could have been in that closet, in that room with her. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. If you've ever seen the cuco, if you have ever had a similar experience. If you'd like me to read your paranormal experience and possibly feature it on my channel, then send it to this email right here. And until next time, make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and I love you. Bye.